International.
It's all about our music, our culture, our festival, Red Stripe Reggae Sumfest. And you know, there's fashion here, there's music, there's entertainment, and there's history. A very rich history. And this man right here knows so much of it. I was on the break talking to him. Roger Steffans, you don't know the name? Well, you need to get familiar. Go to Google, look it up. All right? This man has been around reggae music since its inception. Roger, welcome. I'm honored to be speaking to you right now.
Well, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here on such an auspicious occasion. What a great show.
You were just telling me 40 years ago.
Yeah, you know, Barris, 40 years ago, very young man, was the lead singer of a group called Zap Pow. Their big hit was This Is Reggae Music.
Right.
And he performed at the One Love Peace concert. And
that's the big legendary concert.
And he was still a youth and very humble. And he said, I want you to know that it's Jah who brought me here tonight. And he began to sing a ballad. It wasn't even a reggae song, called One Step Beyond. And it had some high notes in it that just brought chills to people. And it was one of the first major moments in his career. And it's looking at him now as an elder.
Yeah. You can't tell him he's an elder, though. He's still a young boy.
Yeah. I ran into an old friend tonight I hadn't seen in maybe 30 years. And I said, you know, I'm an elder now. And he looked at me and he says, no, Roger, man, you're an ancient.
That's not nice, Roger. But you know, I mean,
I'm alive.
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
you've been around our music for so long. You've
45 years.
Yeah, you've had very intimate moments with artists that we may never ever get to see again on the stage and cannot see again on the stage. In the case of Bob Marley, Jacob Miller, all these great people, Dennis Brown. Give me a very special moment from Bob, and I want one about Dennis Brown because I know you.
Oh, okay. Well, first, Bob.
Yeah.
I started a radio show with my partner Hank Holmes in October of 1979 in Los Angeles on the NPR station. And we were on the air for about 6 weeks when Island Records called us up and asked us if we would mind going on the road for 2 weeks with Bob Marley.
If you would mind?
Yeah, twist it a little harder. And we did, and it was extraordinary, and I got to spend a lot of private time with him. But what I remember most was the last day I spent with him at the end of November '79 in the Roxy. He was doing a benefit for the boxer Sugar Ray Robinson's foundation, so it was a small show. It only held about 400 people, and there were fist fights in the parking lot, people trying to get tickets, and I sat in there almost alone with him during a 3-hour sound check in which Bob played all the instruments himself, because it was where the big Hollywood mockers were coming, the music business heavies. It had to be perfect. And he spent that time to ensure everything was just absolutely spot on. That's the kind of meticulous... when the roadies usually came in and did that job.
He wanted to make sure it was done right.
Absolutely. And Dennis?
Yes, Dennis.
I got a call one day from Joe Gibbs, Dennis's manager at the time, the label owner. And he said, Dennis is in your town and he wants to do an interview with him. And he wants you to make sure to ask him if he's got one lung and if he's gay, because he wants to clear these things up.
Where would that even come from?
I don't know. So I go off with my camera crew and we go to the hotel and I sit on the bed with him. We ended up singing Misty together.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, the room was filled with very attractive young women.
Really?
And about halfway through I said, so Dennis, there's a rumor that you're gay. And this look passes over his face for about a second. And he comes back in and he says, does this look like the room of a gay person? And I said, no. And then I said, and how about one lung? Do you have one lung? No, man, I'm perfectly healthy. And so we do the rest of the interview, and when we turn the camera off, he goes, Roger, man, those questions, what were you asking me? Where did that come from? And I said, Dennis, I thought you wanted to talk about that. And he said, what made you think that? I said, well, Joe Gibbs called me and told me to ask you those questions.
He set you up.
Oh, he set me up, and Dennis was, he was okay with me, but he was furious with Joe Gibbs.
Oh my goodness. Now that is a classic Explorer moment. Now, before we go, where can people find out more about you? Because, I mean, you have so much information to share.
Well, there are some very interesting videos on YouTube if you put my name in, Roger Steffans, S-T-E-F-F-E-N-S. There's several tours of my archives in Los Angeles, and there's a lot of things currently about my latest 2 books. One is called The Family Acid Jamaica, which is a collection of 40 years of my Jamaican photography, published by the Rock House in Negril. And if you go to the Rock House site, it's available there. But also, if you just put The Family Acid at ACID in your text line, you'll get information on how to order the book. But my magnum opus has finally come out. I have been studying the life and work of Bob Marley for 45 years.
Right.
And I've been interviewing people, beginning with Peter and Bob, for 38 years. And I've been working on this new book for 15 years. And it's called So Much Things to Say, The Oral History of Bob Marley. And Kwame Dawes, the great poet, reviewed the book and said, this book is a triumph of the storytelling abilities of the Jamaican people.
Is it out now, or is it going to be out?
Oh, no, it's been out since last July.
It's been out since last July.
So Much Things to Say, The Oral History of Bob Marley.
You got that? You got that? Get to the bookstore right now. Get that book. You need to get it. I'm going to get it because it just sounds like something I want to read all about. The Oral History of Bob Marley. So Much Things to Say. Look it up. It's by, of course, Roger Steffans. And we got so much more to do. So much more to say. It's a Red Stripe Reggae Sumfest. It's all about our music, our culture, our festival. Red Stripe.